Let's go now to Jesse Weber, NewsNation's legal contributor and Law and Crime Network host. First of all, they had a series, the prosecution is nearing the end of its case. They had a series of witnesses today testifying about the rifle and about all these homemade explosive devices they found in Routh's house. We're talking pipe bombs. We're talking rat traps that were rigged to explode. This is weird and unsettling stuff. Normal people don't make homemade bombs in their basement all the time.
And aside from the legal case, if these allegations are true, if he wasn't caught doing this, what could he have been caught doing? That's what's really, really scary about this. And they made it clear, an expert, there would be really no other purpose to have these materials other than to create weapons. And you couple that with the letter, right, that we've talked about that was found with these materials. That
it was in a box.
It was in a box in North Carolina, and basically was that he wanted to assassinate President Trump. This is an attempt to assassinate President Trump, and I'll offer $150,000 who can never complete the job. The name of the game in this case is, what was his intent? What was he doing? Taking up that position, that sniper position. You know what his cross-examination of that witness was? Well, isn't that just a spot that I could be hanging out and not be detected?
Yeah,
that's what you're going with? Then what are you doing there?
Because people normally buy diapers and hang out inside a bush for 10 hours,
And tracking the president's
with
movements.
A gun
yeah.
and the safety off. I mean, let's keep in mind, this guy looks like a nut as he's defending himself, but we're talking about something that's deadly serious here.
And there's parts of this where I can't say he's trying to make a mockery of this. I think based on what we've seen in the cross-examination, he thinks he's making a point. It's kind of hard to weave what those points are. There's times he's asking witnesses, have you ever seen me get angry? Is there a benign reason I could have purchased these materials? And that's not really working when you couple all of the evidence together.
We do have some indication of how the jury is taking this. There are reports that they are watching the prosecutors very carefully as they question their witnesses. But when Routh gets up to cross-examine those witnesses, they do not look at Routh. This is not this is an uncomfortable spectacle we're seeing. The judge has had it cut him off repeatedly today. He doesn't stop talking when the prosecutors say objection. It feels chaotic.
It is.
And it doesn't appear to be playing well with the jury.
Yeah, look, sometimes it's hard to judge what a jury's thinking or what they're taking.
It's always hard.
It is hard, but here, look, this is a situation where, again, in his opening statements, he was talking about Hitler, Homo erectus. And by the way, that letter that I mentioned before, he wanted the full letter to be brought in because his explanation was, despite those sentences, this is an attempt to assassinate President Trump. Well, I never mentioned a golf course. I mean, that's your defense. That's your defense. So it's hard to grasp what he's trying to do.
Okay, he begins to present his case, the defense case, on Monday. Again, let's remind our viewers, he's not a lawyer, has no legal training. My first question to you is, does he take the stand himself and testify? And if he does, how does that work?
He's very unpredictable so far. It's hard to know what he'll do. If he does decide to take the stand, what we've seen many times is a narrative format.
So he just gets to he probably loved that. He gets to sit there and talk uninterrupted?
The judge will provide a little bit of guidelines here, a little bit of barriers. He can't go completely on tangents, but he will give his narrative, and then he subjects himself to cross-examination. If I had to take a guess, he'll try to explain what he was doing there, or he will try to say that the gun was not in working order. I think he'll try to say he's never been a violent individual, but they have a plethora of evidence to contradict each one of those points, and I don't know if he really understands what cross-examination will look like and how it's going to play for the jury, like you said, who already maybe is skeptical of him.
There are lawyers on standby that he can consult. Are they advising him that, I mean, because you know that, you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
No defense lawyer recommends that their client get on the stand and testify in their own defense.
Especially if you're representing yourself. He can't have his cake and eat it too. What do I mean by that? The judge said, you have standby counsel. They can't provide substantive legal advice to you. They can help you maybe draft certain motions or tell you what the rules are, but he can't consult them and say, well, this is what I wanted to testify. This is how I want to testify. He painted himself into a corner, and it's going to be his decision and his decision alone if he takes the stand and thinks that if he can convince one juror that there's some sort of doubt about what his motive was, whether it was really to assassinate President Trump or not, that may be what he tries to do.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.